Good evening, Patrea O'Donoghue here, psychologist. Tonight I thought I'd talk about something a little bit different. There's been some media attention in the last 24 hours in Australia regarding the treatment of thoroughbred horses after their useful life is the lovely term that's been used when they're no longer in the racing industry and what happens to them and the horrendous treatment that's taken place. And it got me thinking about raising our levels of consciousness, because exposés by these wonderful investigative journalists definitely raise our level of consciousness. Now, I thought other areas of raising our consciousness. So for me, one of those things has been about, the personal journey that we all go through as we age. And for me, part of that journey started a little over 10 years ago when I made the decision to stop dyeing my hair. And you might think, well, what's the relevance of this? But I started to think more broadly in terms of it. I thought, the smell of it, there's the poison label on the hair dye boxes, there's I kind of thought, well, is it poison and this strong smell? What could it be doing to my skin and my scalp and the condition of my hair? And apart from the fact that after it's been on my hair and washed out, it eventually is going to get down into the environment. And I thought, well, here I am feeling like one of my areas of work is helping people change. And in order to change, we raise our level of awareness. And in raising our level of awareness, we must become conscious at some point about the effect of whatever it is that we're doing. So for me, I thought, this is just not really what I want to be doing. So my hair is au naturel for over 10 years now, and I actually really like it. It started off as a little bit of an experiment, thinking, well, if I don't like it, then I can always go back to the bottle. But I have not looked back. Now, there are, maybe I might look a little younger if I put some blonde through my hair again. But that's okay. For me, it's not about that. It really is about a journey of raising my level of awareness and noticing what happens in my mind when maybe I do think about the times where I think, well, maybe it is. So it's a journey of exploring the mind as well as staying committed to what I am choosing, which is that path of, taking a more natural process to my aging journey, you could say. Another is hearing of the young women these days who are going to fillers and plastics in their body and, other kind of things that they're putting into their body. And these are highly toxic things, all in the name of beauty. Is it really what we want to be doing? I mean, seriously, these things are supposed to be beautiful, but if people are struggling with how they are as a person and then they're seeking an avenue to put such toxins in their body, what kind of messages are we really putting to these young people and older people as well? Women of all generations, and unfortunately a lot of it is the women who are doing it. Obviously some men are turning to these things as well, but what level of consciousness is happening there? So if we want to raise our level of consciousness, perhaps we start with ourselves first and look at what are the ways that we are, what are we doing, and whose messages are we taking on board when we try and approach things in such a way that we're kind of doing such things to our body that really aren't very natural at all. So as an exercise in raising consciousness, there are many things we could choose to do. So when people have these grand plans about wanting to raise the level of consciousness of the world, there's many ways that we can do it. These investigative journalists definitely put treatment of animals on the radar as they have done many times in the past. And I went vegan 18 months ago, the second time round, but this time there's no lapsing. After the sheep live export trade, which was horrendous. And, you know, how many times do we need to go through an expose like that to raise our level of awareness, to look at the supply chain of certain industries, to think whether it's human slavery, child slavery, whether it's the treatment of animals at the end of their useful life, or if it's just in the name of live export, so exporting our products for the meat industry. Whatever it is, there are ways that we can all raise our level of consciousness. We don't need to be doing seriously grand things, but we look at our own life and think, what's my contribution in this situation? Whether it's climate change, if that's what you are passionate about, then look in your own house. What are the ways in which maybe you've got many things happening, lights on in every room when you're not in every room, lots of computers, lots of phones, what's our mileage that we're using, whatever it is that you are passionate about, look inside to think, what can I do to make my contribution to this situation less harmful in the ways that it is harmful, and more helpful, so that what you are passionate about is something that can you can be working towards a goal that you feel is worthwhile. So whatever it is that you want to work on in order to raise your level of consciousness, I hope that you can find that peace in your heart to pursue, because I think at the end of the day, that's what we all want. Wishing you a good Friday night. Cheers.